Hello Dollar General friends. In this video, I'm going to show you where I found penny items in 6 different stores on Tuesday. I actually ended up going to 14 different stores, but I'm going to show half of the stuff I found in this video and half in another video because it's so much stuff to talk about. This was the first store I went in on Tuesday morning. This is the store that I was talking about last week in my penny shopping video. I said I was going to come back here and look for these food picks, and they were still there. But the candles that had been 90% off last week did already sell, so I wasn't able to grab those at a penny. But this was one of my best stores of the entire day. Actually, I think it was my best store. Um, this was the best store that I went in, so I'm definitely glad that I went here first. Last week, if you remember, I said I had a cashier who told me she had pulled all the penny items, so apparently she thinks she's really good at it, so I thought I'd go back this week and see if I could score again, and I really did. This is one of the things I want to tell everybody to look out for. I believe every store has this hat rack next to the clothing section of their store, and almost every time the spring and summer or winter fall items go to a penny, I always end up finding some hats mixed into these hat racks. So definitely keep an eye out for these. I ended up finding, I don't know, 10 or 12 different yellow dot hats on Tuesday. And after I filled my cart with hats, I looked up and saw this sunscreen rack, and I knew I was about to score a lot of pennies. There are several different sunscreens that have gone to a penny this week, and apparently there was a lot more than I thought. I think I only had visuals of like 4 of them, but I found 5 or 6 different kinds that were a penny. It was crazy the amount of sunscreen I got. Overall on Tuesday, I ended up with almost 300 penny items, and I would say about 100 of them were sunscreen. I definitely have way more than I could ever use. I'll definitely be passing out sunscreen to everyone in my family, all of my friends, and then donating a ton, because there's no way one person or one household could use all the sunscreen I found. It was really crazy. But I was definitely pleased with this haul. My cashier, though, she was not so happy. It was the same lady that told me she had pulled all the penny items last week. I think she thought she had pulled them all this week, but she definitely did not. I ended up finding 78 items in that store and spending 86 cents. This was the second store I went in. This store, I ended up really scoring on the surprise penny items. There was a lot of cold medicine that went to a penny on Tuesday. If you haven't seen that, definitely make sure when you're going in to penny shop this week that you're checking cold medicine, because there's a lot that's gone to a penny. And I was able to score 18 different things from this clearance section, and it cost me 20 cents. I think almost all of them were Mucinex. I was afraid the register would stop and not let me buy them all. Sometimes when you buy cold medicine, there's a limit and you can only buy so many, but I guess the ingredients in this Mucinex, you're allowed to buy as many as you want, so I was able to ring up all 18 in one order, so that was good. And then this is the third store I went in, and on the Christmas aisle, I found this weed killer for the garden. I had never even seen this at full price. I've never noticed it before. I was just walking down the seasonal aisle to see if I could see any leftover summer items, and I thought it looked out of place, and it happened to be a penny. And then I found one citronella candle mixed into the regular candles. And then this particular store, I really scored on the NCI aisle. I was hoping to find some green dot and purple dot dishes mixed in, and I definitely did. I didn't end up finding any Dolly Parton stuff, which I found very surprising, but I ended up with lots of coffee mugs, a casserole pan. I got several of the insulated cups with the straws. I do want to mention, I thought this was really weird. Let me know in the comments if this happened to you. But that green mug with the Cheetos or Jaguars, whatever it is on it, was a penny, and it's a green dot item. This pan right here that I'm pulling the cups out of is a green dot item, and it was a penny. But for some reason, most of the decorative home good type stuff that was green dot stayed full price. I found full price green dot pillows, towels, placemats, all kinds of things. But the green dot dishes that I found were a penny. I am very confused about that. I don't know what happened. I don't know when the other green dot stuff will get marked down. I'm I don't know. I have a complete loss of words for how to explain it because it makes no sense. That's one of the reasons why I always try to mention in all of my videos that you should try to use the Dollar General app if you can and scan items, because you never know what they're going to ring up. Even though half the green dot stuff was a penny, half the green dot stuff was full price. I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Very confusing. If you haven't been penny shopping yet, or if you're planning on going out some more this week, make sure you pay extra close attention to the green dot items because only half of them are ringing up a penny. And then you saw I got a bunch of cough drops out of the clearance section of this store, so definitely check the clearance section for the cold medicine that I was talking about and cough drops. I saw a lot of allergy medicine and vitamins that were full price, but the cold medicine and the cough drops, which I guess is also stuff for colds, that's the stuff that went to a penny. And then I found a ton of black dot clothing in this store that was a penny. I didn't even realize that these existed. I think they were Father's Day shirts. They said something about drinking on them. I don't know why they always make Father's Day stuff with beer on it. I guess they think the only thing dads like is drinking. It's kind of messed up, but whatever. They were penny shirts. I'm sure somebody will appreciate them. I'll definitely be donating those. I have no use for 20 different Father's Day shirts, but I didn't even realize those were on the penny list. I just saw the display and there was like one red, white, and blue thing on the display, and I thought, well, all the patriotic stuff's a penny. Why not scan this? And then they were a penny. And then I scored on the sunscreen again in this store. This is why, like I said, I'm pretty sure I got like 100 cans of sunscreen. Definitely make sure you look wherever your store has the sunscreen and scan the stuff there, because I'm pretty sure most employees do not know which ones stayed full price and which ones went to a penny. I had a really funny interaction when I was checking out at this store. I ended up finding 68 items here and spending 75 cents. But when I got to the register, the manager was talking about the store that I had went in first thing that morning. And she said that the lady over there, the cashier who told me she had pulled all the pennies, had been bragging about how no one's going to find any more penny items in her store. And I was like, oh, that explains why she was so grumpy when I found almost 80 items in her store this morning. And the manager got a kick out of that because she was like, you really did? And I was like, yep. So she may be telling people she's not going to have penny items in her store anymore, but that's definitely a lie. I know employees try their hardest to pull penny items, but they shouldn't take it so seriously and be so angry when people find it. I don't know why she's so offended at the idea of people finding penny items. And yeah, I really do think I upset her. But whatever. I'm just shopping. Maybe she should try a little harder next time. There was just so many things that went to a penny this week. It was really, really hard for any employee to try to pull all the items that were going to a penny. I went in, like I said, 14 different stores, I went in a lot more than 14 stores because I went to a lot of Walgreens for 90% off Halloween stuff and other places, but I went into 14 different Dollar Generals on Tuesday, and out of those 14, only 2 stores I came out empty-handed. Every other store I found penny items in. So this is definitely just a week where it was really hard for any employee to try to pull all the penny items. This store was really funny. There was 4 or 5 people penny shopping in the store. It was crazy. There was several women with full carts of stuff. I don't really care. I'm not trying to get a bunch of stuff. I'm just glad for anyone to score. So I wasn't jealous or mad. I was just like, cool, I'm not the only person out penny shopping in my town. That's kind of fun to me. And I did still manage to score a few things at this store. I ended up getting 17 items and paying 18 cents, so I definitely was not disappointed, even though there was other people that had got way more stuff than me and had been shopping in there for a while. I always feel like I can still find some stuff. There's enough pennies out there for everybody. And then this is the sixth store that I went in, so this is the last store I'm going to talk about in this video. And I really thought it was going to be the first store that I was going to come out empty-handed. And then as I was going to the front of the store to put away my cart, I happened to glance down the party aisle and noticed these displays in the floor. And I went over to check, and it just so happened that one of these displays that was in the floor was full price. The other one, the one with all of these lays on it, was a penny. So just when I was ready to give up, I scored some stuff. And then as I walk towards the end of the aisle, you'll see on the top shelf, I found another display full of party penny items. So I ended up spending 35 cents on 32 different items, just when I was ready to give up. So definitely don't give up when you go in a store. Keep looking, have patience, go down every aisle if you have to. You're probably going to find something, especially this week. Let me know in the comments, guys. Did you go penny shopping Tuesday? What kind of haul did you get? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you think of lots more places to look for penny items. And until next time, bye!